Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from?
So I'm originally from New York. Um, I'm the 12th child of, of my parents. Our background is we're from Dominican Republic, we're from the Caribbean, and to jump right to it, our family's artistically inclined. My father still is, even though he's not with us. He was an architect, and my mother used to design clothes.
Wow.
So all my brothers and sisters, some way, somehow, have that inclination to the art. And me being the youngest one, I absorbed that energy since I was 4 years old, to say. And I've been an artist since I was 4. I'm from New York. Now I live in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 6 years with my family, my wife and kids. I met her 13 years ago, and guess what? You attract what you are. My kids draw too, and my wife as well.
Oh, wow.
So art's in the blood.
Now, you grew up with art, I guess, surrounding you. You said you absorb it all.
Right.
Playing off of that, how do you feel like you're absorbing what other people bring to you reflects in the type of art that you make?
So I feel that, let me see. So all right. So I was guided through what others were doing, right? But for some reason, they grew up together, meaning they had each other. So when I came to be, I came right when I started drawing, they were still in the house. So when I got into elementary school, I'm the only one in the house. So the little bit that I grasped, I took it and ran with it. But then being around my peers in school and being kids, we want to be creative, and that's one of my best subjects is art and math, social studies. But so I grasped onto in 5th grade, I grasped onto the street art, a street writer, what they say, the G word, right? So we saw a documentary on public channel, PBS, based on, street art in New York City. It's called Star Wars. And once I saw that, forget about it. So it just like, it opened up that can of worms, or that Pandora box of what my brother taught me when I was 4 years old, when he showed me how to do block letters. And he showed me how to draw my name in block letter forms. And that's to answer your question.
Wow, okay. So bringing up, like you said, the G word, and when we spoke earlier as well, how do you define, you call yourself a writer.
Right.
Can you talk more about what that word means for you?
So a writer is, from what I learned and from what I feel it is, we all try to identify ourselves. So our parents call us when we're born on the birth certificate. In my case, Pedro Luis Fernandez. That's, to the world, that's how I identify myself as. When you get into the culture of writing and having, being a writer, tagging your name up on the walls and stuff like that, and you're a part of that community or that culture, you're trying to identify yourself as a writer. So then I'm creating myself an identity and how I want to, it's an identity, but I'm also becoming an artist. So it's an artist name. So I noticed in the times that I became, and when I first started, I was searching. I went through a couple of different names until I felt comfortable with a name that I felt like I really wanted to identify myself with. And that came about. So I started in 5th grade. You're talking about 1980, right around 1980. Yes, now you know my age. And now you're talking about, I'm in like 5 years later. So in the 5-year period, I went through Buff, Dace, ER, and then I became Bosk. So how I became Bosk was, I'm in high school, summer school, had to go to summer school, and I'm sitting at home when I came back and I'm doing my homework. To get personal, I went through a nervous breakdown. So through the art of writing, sitting there about supposed to be focusing on my homework, I'm focusing on myself. So psychologically, I was talking to myself through the writing, and I said, man, I need to have total control of myself, because I was going through a lot of, ups and downs with the emotion and, the nervous breakdown. It was taking a toll, and it was still fresh. So a childhood friend of mine in the neighborhood wrote boss with one S. And I liked the way it looked cool, boss. And then every writer, so people could understand about the culture of writing, when you become a writer, you first start tagging your name on the walls. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more your name is all around, then they consider you a king, because everywhere any corner you turn, they're gonna see your name. It's like self-advertisement, you're promoting yourself. So that's part of writing. You wanna become a king. You're not the king, you are a king, meaning you want other kings. So psychologically, I was talking to myself and I said, I need to be the boss and the king of myself. And it's like a little light bulb just lit up. And I'm like, yo, so that's not actual artist name.
Okay.
It's not, and you don't pronounce it, you gotta spell it out. So when they used to ask me, what do you write? Because that's what other artists, other writers ask themselves, what do you write? What's your tag? I go, Bosk-TSU. So now it sounds like a rhyme. Now I'm part of the elements, now I'm rhyming instead of saying boss king. Because if I said boss king in the street culture, that's like me trying to say I'm Gotti. I'm the mafia king. No, I didn't want my peers to come and attack me. Let me see how true you are, that you are the boss and the king, because that's a heavy name to walk around with.
Definitely.
So I didn't want that heat on my butt. So I outsmarted, I did it to protect myself. Not that I was scared, but to cut off the BS. What do you write? Bosk-ing. So you don't hear me say boss king, you hear me say Bosk-ing. So now it sounds catchy. It's catchy. So then I experimented doing it on the walls illegally. Yes, I said it illegally. And it was too long. So maybe like 3 months, give or take, not to be so literal, I just dropped the ing and I became Bosk. And now they know me as Bosk.
I love that.
And then 2 years later, to go with what you're looking on the wall and the title and name, I added the TSU because, all right, so writers are associated with crews. So I was down with other crews, and I had one day, me and my childhood friend, rest in peace, he's watching over us right now. We were playing handball, wall ball, whatever you guys call it out here, we call it handball. And we did a nice little move, like in tennis, when you see, because handball is almost like tennis, it's half court, right? So he did a move that we cut him. You know how in tennis you see how when they hit the ball, and you outsmart your opponent, you cut it. Me and him said, tear it up. I didn't want to say the word, but you get what I'm saying. Tear it up, right? And we looked at each other, another light bulb lit up. I said, yo, we're gonna start pushing TSU. So that's where the TSU came from. So to say it not in French, in English, I can switch it up in what I call it now, True Styles Unlimited. When I do my artwork, I try to come out with true styles that are unlimited. So a writer, so you can understand what writer's mentality is. So when you're doing all this writing and you're becoming a writer and you're developing your craft, every time I sit down, I have to outdo myself, not nobody else. Yes, there's friendly competition because there's constructive criticism throughout the peers. That's how we get better. I cannot take anything you say, being an artist or a writer, just being an artist. I have to receive that constructive criticism. I tell people nowadays, now in this era with phones and this and that, it looks nice. It's cheesy. Can be something to feed off of.
Right.
Tell me, what do you see? What do you see wrong? Give me something, because I'm not going to get offended. I shouldn't get offended. If anything, you're helping me to improve myself. So when becoming a writer, I learned how to take constructive criticism.
I think I'm starting to understand now what you mean when you say writer.
Right.
I think, of course, you think traditional
You can say it,
novel
it's
book
fine.
writers,
Yeah,
but
they
the
say
way that you're describing it, it makes sense. You're telling a story with intention. Those words and those acronyms, they mean something.
Right.
And I think that shows in the way that you present yourself
Right.
as an artist as well.
Thank you.
That's fascinating. I love that.
And I'm glad that you do, because that's the purpose.
Yeah.
Remember, through whatever art form you use, it don't have to be just writing. I mean, I do abstract, like you see. I can do still life. I can do sceneries and stuff like that. Whatever art form you use, you still showing. Remember, your heart and soul goes into the drawing and your mind. So it's a part of me coming out, but I'm showing that I love myself so much that I'm trying so much to, uplift myself. So that when I bring it to somebody else, the way I looked at it as I got older, as I got more experience and I got older as an artist, now I'm bringing joy to people. So
Right.
if my art brings you joy, then guess what? I quote a friend of mine's, artist friend. We say like this: remember, the art is free, but when you buy my art, all you're doing is paying me to have space in your life.
That's a great way to put that. I love that.
Yeah, that was my buddy.
Props to him.
Yeah,
Props
Michael
to him.
Como. I give him credit for that. We, one day we were talking, and this is the second time I said this in an interview. So, I'm giving of myself to the world.
Yeah. And I think that inherently as an artist, that's what you have to do, to be vulnerable and put that in your work, however way you do it.
Right.
And that brings me to that next point when we were talking about your intention with your art. You create obviously more abstract artwork.
For a reason.
For a reason.
Right.
So when you make that, what goes behind how it's going to be received by others, or even how you intend for it to be received by yourself?
When I see, so, all right, so I went into abstract, because when I finally got professional, which everybody was telling me for so long, so many years. I mean, I literally got professional 9 years ago, and I'm 55. I have people tell me, you've been giving out your work for free for so long. It's because if I knew it made you happy, there's no price on it.
Yeah.
To me, it's no price. I enjoy doing it. So then when I met my wife and, other people, they're like, yo, come on, buckle down. You can live off of this. And I knew it, but I was just like, it wasn't my time. So now when I'm going into the galleries and I'm seeing, I'm learning about the culture of the gallery scenes and stuff like that, I saw that certain crowds you can bring the writing to. Writing is an art form. It's an international art form right now. Hip hop, part of all elements in this and this and that. It's worldwide, it's well received now. But the one that dominates is abstract. Still life, portraits, all is great. But abstract ain't number one. So when I started, so to give you an idea, so my first actual exhibit in 2015 was a graph show. It was, a bunch of writers, a bunch of hood rats, But I had a little bit of both. I had, I had some abstract and I had a lot of what you see on my shirt, right? And then I ended up in a gallery in downtown Lower East Side Manhattan, and there, being that I was already hanging out in other galleries, I said, wait a minute, not every gallery is going to accept the writing. So if you want to broaden your horizon or have a greater menu, you have to tap into, try to hit people with a little more than what don't box yourself into one dimension. So I saw that, and I was like, all right, cool. So now I gotta step it up. And guess who helped me to step it up? My wife. She said to me, that's all you do is letters? You don't do nothing else? I said, I can draw. That's what I feel comfortable, because that's my therapy. Right. That's what comes easy. I can do my eyes closed. I even draw with my left hand if I have to. So now that I have to consider the fact that I'm polishing myself to finally focus to become I'm a true artist already, but a professional artist. That's the word, Society's gonna call me an artist. If I'm an artist, show me why you're an artist.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because especially with your start being in street art, being in, as you say, a writer, would you say you received any negative backlash, or was it difficult trying to identify yourself as what you say is, quote unquote, a professional artist? Do you feel like you ever had
So
that?
actually, you know what I did? I'm here. We're here. So when I was studying everything else in other galleries, right? Because remember, I went from Brooklyn to Manhattan to Yonkers, which is the upper part of the Bronx. Right? And there I saw what you see here in this gallery, in this lovely gallery that we're in right here, that you guys have received me. So what I did was, if they're not going to receive the letters, you know what I did? I subtracted the letters and I kept the wow style. So writers, when they do their letterings, see how earlier I showed you a rendition of somebody's name. See how simple it was. When you add more to it, it becomes a wow style piece, where you're trying to find out what it says.
So you
I just
abstracted the shapes from the letters, essentially?
No, I got rid of the letters.
Oh, so you got rid of the letters entirely?
And kept everything that makes the letters wow style.
Oh.
That's my abstract. That's how this came to be.
Yeah, so let's talk about this blue piece behind you.
So kudos to one of my mentors. I can consider my mentor. He was the first one to give me an opportunity to be in a collective show in New York City, Worldworks in the Bronx, Crash, and his association Tats Crew. He let me. He didn't see this specifically, excuse me, but he saw the style that I was coming up with when I first started doing this, right? This form of style. And he said, I want this here. I literally had to wait 11 months before I was at the show, because he was booked for every month till that thing, August of 2017, I'll never forget it, right? So in the meantime that I was going to these, supporting others. Remember, for you to be seen, you have to let yourself be seen. So in the beginning, I had to learn as an artist to support others like you and others that are artists before I'll be able to be seen. Support others so others can support you. So people were like, you're an artist? I go, yeah, right. What's up? What you got? So, phones, technology. So I was showing them my artwork. And this specific day, when I showed the guy, I can't get his name right now, but he's real sculpture. He's real good. He's a really good guy. I like him. I gotta call him. He asked me. He didn't ask me. He said, your style. I'm sorry, because I'm trying to.
You're good.
I'm going to absorb it. I'm gonna come back to you, right? He goes to me, your style remind me of Matisse. So, being a street person, I'm like, yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about, but I really didn't know who he was talking about. You got to fake it before you make it.
Right.
The saying says, right? So what I did was, it was on a Saturday. Monday morning, I go to my job. I used to use my job as a studio. That's how I went through a lot. I used my job as a studio, and I was fortunate to be able to do that. I Googled him, I read up on him, and I saw what he was talking about. And from my subconscious mind, I drew this. And this is my rendition of when I show you what I see when I first saw it. So if you concentrate just on the dark blue, right? There's three shades of blue here, right? You look at the dark blue, right? It shapes out a person's face. That's what I see. Remember, it's abstract, so there's no wrong answer. This is what I see. So like I told you earlier, this is the eye, this is the ear, this is the back of the head, and this is his forehead, the nose, the lip, and the mouth, the tongue, right? So if you look at these 2 points, they don't meet. The reason it don't meet, or the reason why it doesn't meet, is because I chose not to, because when I paint, I like to have balance with my colors. I learned that from being a writer. You have to have balance. So psychologically, I can't flood one color to another, so I have to have a nice little balance. For the fact that I didn't connect it, when I saw it, that it didn't connect, now it's an outburst. So this is what this person's thinking when he's gonna create his next composition. So that's why I didn't want to call it Matisse, because it was funny, because it looked like his style, which I didn't copy, but they said they compared me to him, so I must have something. Hello.
I was thinking of Matisse.
Right, so I was thinking of Matisse, and then actually it got writing in it. Look, this is my sister's name. Her name is Eldy. I used that E. That's an E right there. But to you, it looks like something else.
I love how you incorporate
I got letters
that.
in there. I got letters in there. I still got the writing in there, but I just camouflage it, or I just throw it out. I just go with the flow. Another person is like, my art form is like chi. I draw from chi, from the energy from inside. That's what another person told me. A guy he's a collector. He works for a big company. He said, you like the Asians. You know, they draw from chi. Big jar of paint, boom, dip, boom, move, and whenever you stop, that's it. That's what I do.
You now, going off of that, you mentioned this subconscious.
Right.
You're drawing from your subconscious.
Right.
Describe what that means.
The reason why I say subconscious is because I read about it, I absorbed it, but I didn't think about it when I did it.
Okay.
So when I drew this, I drew from energy. I don't specifically think of something. I have a style, I have a form, of course, through all the artwork that I did, so people can tell it's me. But when I draw, I don't think about it. I learned this. I picked this up from this. I never met her, cyber friend, whatever. She wrote, "You got to draw like you blind, like you can't see. That's how you draw. Draw like you can't see." Just like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and all these people, Jose Feliciano, they play instruments they don't see nothing, but they feel it. So I go from the feeling within inside, the energy that I recollect. Like I can draw something right when I leave tonight. I'll go out from this energy that I built up today with us doing this interview and everything we had experienced. I draw from that subconscious mind. It'll come out.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I didn't sign up for it, but hey.
I think that's
can
that
I get a
makes you
paycheck?
stand out.
Holla, can the brother live? You know, times are hard on the boulevard, you know what I'm saying? Had to, right? So back to the writing, right? So at the age of 17, right, I'm writing this name, my artist named Bosk, right? And we're benching. Benching means, all right, so in New York City, when they still had the writing on the trains and all the stuff and all the artwork you saw, right? Us artists, like a gallery show, it was a show in motion. So we sat in a train station and looked at all the work. That's called benching.
Oh, okay.
So after we benched and saw all the work on the trains, we went to Burger King, and this is when Burger King came up with this, fountain soda. But we didn't like Burger King. We were Mickey D's guys, So we ate at Mickey D's, but we took Mickey D's cup to go to Burger King and drink their soda. Let's have a little humor here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just my peers, and somebody just randomly walks in, and this guy walks in. It's like 5 of us right now. We're all sitting at the table. Back then when you could sit there and just they don't kick you out. And the guy just walks in and randomly asks me, "You write?" So I'm a smart butt. You know what I'm talking about. So being a writer, how you just bluntly just come out your face and just you write? It's not that it's offensive, but he came in so direct. The first thing as a writer, so you can understand the culture. And now that I'm around my peers, so I got an S on my chest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even drunk. Right? So we're gonna ask. I told him like this: "Are you police?"
Dang.
Yeah, because he sees us practicing, or what you want to say, scribbling. My mother used to say, garabatos. In Spanish we say garabatos. We're scribbling, we're just doodling, like old school. Back then we had a phone. You just sat there in the phone and just doodle. So he goes, no, I'm a writer too. So you should have said that.
He could tell.
I didn't say that, but he's being funny, right? So then he goes to me, "Shorty," because he feels like he's an elder. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Shorty, do your signature again," meaning how I sign, not like that. That's a signature right there. That's a signature, right? He says, "Do your signature again. Write that again." And when he saw the way I did it, he saw the potential in me and said to me,
from that,
because I didn't know at the time, he's associated with the crew called X-Men. He's the vice president of X-Men, like the cartoon X-Men, the comic, right? So they X-Men, Bosk X-Men, Tanvi X-Men, right? X-Men, right?
There you go.
Check it out. So I didn't have to vandalize or get up, like we say. The law calls it vandalism. I didn't have to tag my name all over. Just the simple fact that the way I wrote it he said, I'm gonna put you down with X-Men.
Wow.
So he saw he saw something. He saw like he predicted what he saw. He saw, like I told him now. I saw him 1986. It was the first time I seen him.
When?
2023. 36 years later.
Really?
So he saw something in me, the potential, before it ever happened. And he put me down with that crew. Like I told you, writers are associated with crews, and that's one of the well-known crews. You can you talk to any writer. You can Google and or try to tap into any like podcast where writers are talking. Mention X-Men, and they're gonna know. Wow. All right. That's how I got down with X-Men. So I didn't have to do all this to prove myself. That's what writers do. We have to prove ourselves. Prove yourself worthy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, get your feet wet. Let me see what you can do.
But you didn't. I mean, you proved yourself without even trying. Yeah,
it was just effortlessly. Not to say like that. I'm not patting myself on the shoulder. I'm not conceited. But it was just at the time I didn't understand. At the time I was like, are you ishing me? Are you for real? Because I knew what it had to take. Because I was already associated with people in my neighborhood, and then I'm hanging out with guys from a different neighborhood, Jamaica, Queens, and I'm down with them, and they're MKD. So I was down with MKD already. So I'm building my resume, and that's it. So writing and being a street artist has helped me tremendously. Yeah, I did cartoons, Mickey Mouse, all that stuff. I can draw all that, but to me it's too cliche. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got professional, like I said, I had to try to, how they say, hit them with two birds with one stone.
Killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because when I went to, like I told you, when I went to the galleries, as like this, like the fine art galleries, this right here might not it might be too aggressive. They're gonna stereotype it right away and say, right, that's street art, or like they like to say, that's graffiti. No, I'm not a graffiti writer. I am a writer.
You're an artist.
I'm an artist, first and foremost. I was taught by my mentors and other peers, Phase 2, Riff 170. Yes, I have to mention the pioneers, a lot of other people, AD, Cool AD, a lot of people I can mention right now. But my mentor that passed away, he's with me. And my best friend that passed away when I first started writing, I was 14, he was 15, drawn on 4th of July. Me and him up and down the block with little markers that we got from the stores. You know what the first marker I used for? I used Crayola markers in my elementary school in the bathroom. And guess what? I got busted. And that was the first time I got busted, and the last time, and then after that I got busted so many years ago.
But that was your first time as a writer?
For writing my name all over the bathroom walls. And guess what? I couldn't go to my 6th grade graduation trip. Action Park, when it first happened. Action Park is a water park, for those who don't know who Action Park is. I had to stay in the school with Tony. I can't remember his last name. Me and him were the only ones that couldn't go to the trip because my father said, I ain't missing a day of work to go on a trip with you ass. Sorry. I ain't going to chaperone you. So we got stuck. Guess what we did? You're not going to believe it. I don't talk about this too much.
What?
My teacher forgot to lock the closet door to the classroom. And all those toys and baseball cards and everything he took away from us, guess what? Me and Tony had a feast. We took everything. We kept everybody's stuff.